First at noon, Honolulu's prosecutor says there will be no charges against the HPD officers involved in the fatal shooting of a barricade suspect in Waikiki. It happened back in December of 2022 at the Oahu Waikiki Studio Suites. Prosecutor Steve Alm says the hotel staff called HPD for help to remove the suspect, Benjamin Morales, from his room on the 5th floor. It turned into an hours-long standoff that forced dozens of tourists to evacuate with the building after gunshots were heard. Alm says officers made multiple attempts to get Morales to surrender, but he ignored all requests. He eventually came out of his room holding a handgun.
You can see him shaking his head side to side as he's walking down the corridor toward the officers when they're yelling to stop and to drop the gun. He kept advancing down the corridor toward the officers, ignored their repeated commands. He got about halfway down the corridor and he just started to bring the pistol down. And as soon as he did that, both officers opened fire.
Morales later died from his injuries. A toxicology report later found he had meth and marijuana in his system. Alm says Morales also told his family that he would not be taken alive or go to jail. An accused child rapist living on Oahu has been extradited to New Zealand. The U.S. Justice Department can't identify the suspect due to laws in New Zealand, but investigators say the man fled to Hawaii after being questioned by police for allegedly assaulting a 12-year-old back in 2015. U.S. Marshals and Homeland Security arrested the man in March last year. On the Big Island, we're learning more about the two women who were crushed to death by a fallen banyan tree in Hilo. Derek Kravitsky has the details.
A memorial now marks the spot where a giant banyan fell on July 12th, killing two women. A GoFundMe page identifies the victims as Trisha and Michelle, a couple who often fished at the lagoon along Kilauea Avenue.
Just very saddened and in disbelief.
This woman says she knew one of them for years.
Very bubbly, friendly, you know, she had a lot of friends. She'll be missed.
Trisha's sister said online that her family was hurt that the police did not do more to find her. We're told late last week authorities got a report of a foul odor nearby, but couldn't find it.
We asked around the surrounding businesses, you know, and so this is quite a surprise.
Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda says first responders also sent divers into the lagoon and even searched with infrared cameras, but found nothing.
This is what tells us that, you know, if there was a death, when there was a death, that it occurred pretty quickly because we couldn't pick up any heat that was coming from under the tree.
But this past weekend, relatives searched the site themselves and discovered a body, which led authorities to recover both bodies. It's still unclear why the tree fell, tearing down power lines and crushing part of Cavalry Chapel. The tree was on land owned by the state, which declined comment because of the ongoing investigation. Mayor Alameda says the county is looking into ways to protect the public from other vulnerable trees.
I've been driving around and looking at other banyan trees, and I know in my own lifetime, this is like the third tree that has fallen. About 2 years ago, there was a woman who burned in a tree.
To her family and friends, I'm so sorry for your loss with this tragic incident.
Derek Kravitsky, Hawaii News Now.
Also on the Big Island, Hawaii County Police Assistant Chief Reed Mahuna has been tapped to serve as the department's interim chief. Mahuna has been with the department since 1998. He first started as a South Hilo patrol officer. Mahuna will replace current acting chief Ben Moskowitz, who announced his resignation to become the interim Honolulu police chief, but later tried to withdraw it. The commission says it has not yet begun the search for the next police chief. Well, the Trump administration continues to be dogged by questions about its handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, while the president is now accusing former President Barack Obama of treason for allegations over the 2016 election. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
We're very close to finishing a trade deal.
Shortly after hosting the president of the Philippines in the Oval Office Tuesday, President Trump announced on social media a new trade deal, including a 19% tariff on goods from that country.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people.
But Trump didn't talk trade for long, pivoting to attack former President Barack Obama, blaming him directly for what he has called for years the Russia hoax.
He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
A spokesperson for Obama responded, calling Trump's allegations outrageous, pointing out a 2020 bipartisan Senate report led by Marco Rubio affirmed that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. President Trump brought up former President Obama moments after being asked a question related to the controversy surrounding the investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
The president said it was appropriate that his Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche reached out to the lawyer for Epstein associate and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell and plans to speak to her in the coming days.
We want maximum transparency. We also understand the other part of that duty is that we have to protect innocent victims.
On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the House won't vote on a resolution calling on the Trump administration to release more of the Epstein files before the August recess. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, activists in southern Florida are calling for the shutdown of the Immigrant detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz. Florida nonprofits and medical professionals joined families of detainees in the Everglades today. One detainee called his wife during the press conference, who says he has a foot fungus from water on the floor. Other reports say food and drinking water are substandard, getting prescription medication can be difficult, and the heat and humidity are dangerous.
Alligator Alcatraz was designed to be a joke. Is this a joke? No. Yeah. Is this a joke? No. To mock the very real suffering of migrants, to strip up fear, to stir up fear, and to turn human rights violations into campaign slogans.
State officials say the facility meets the standards required by law. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis told reporters he believes facilities like this are necessary to handle the Trump administration's mass deportations. Back here at home, promises not kept. That's the claim from nurses at Queens Medical Center. They're talking about staffing levels outlined in their most recent contract. The Hawaii Nurses Association says Queens has not enforced the ratios outlined in the contract, which was ratified back in January. HNA has filed 20 grievances and has given an August 21st deadline before they file bad faith bargaining charges as well as an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board. Now, we've reached out to Queens on this and we'll let you know when we get their response. COVID infections are on the rise in Hawaii at a higher level than state health officials expected. This past weekend, the test positivity rate statewide was 12.4%, up from under 11% the previous week. COVID cases are now outpacing flu and other respiratory viruses in test positivity, emergency room visits, and hospital admissions. They're encouraging residents to take precautions, including getting vaccinated. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Oahu will soon have an air ambulance chopper. Lynn Kawano has the details.
The new chopper will be able to take patients directly from the scene across Oahu to a trauma center in a fraction of the time it takes a ground ambulance. Distance and traffic are major obstacles for transporting patients on Oahu, especially during rush hour. AMR will soon be adding a chopper to its fleet of response units. This is the aircraft expected to be on island later this year. An H-130 model currently in California, it will be packed onto a barge and shipped to Honolulu Harbor.
This helicopter is going to allow us to be able to get patients with stroke or a heart attack or a really bad traumatic accident into the services that they need much faster than the ground ambulance.
This is something that's really needed here. Not every day, but when it's needed, it can shorten the transport time of critically ill patients from places like the North Shore, west side of Oahu, Makaha.
Currently, Maui and the Big Island have the air ambulance chopper service. This one transported a patient from Kona to the Queens Medical Center at Punch Bowl on Monday. AMR's parent company, Global Medical Response, fronted the cost of the new aircraft, but patient health insurance will keep it in the air. The service, once provided by the military, hasn't been offered on Oahu since 2006.
Bring critical care to the scene of the call is what's different than a fixed wing where we would have to land at an airport or a designated landing zone. So this will actually be able to bring critical care right to the patient.
So there's a number of hospitals on Oahu that have helipads. Queen's certainly one of them. Also, Kaiser Moanalua has a helipad. Tripler Army Medical Center does as well.
The service is expected to help ease the burden on the county emergency medical services, too.
If it's a multiple patient incident, the helicopter can take one or two of the most critical patients, and then the ambulance or ambulances on scene can then take the other patients.
The aircraft will arrive on Oahu in October and should be up in the air about a month later. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Lynn. Honolulu's interim police chief is opposing allowing the media to have access to police radio scanners despite sounding open to it last month. Roddy Vanek is under pressure from the city council and the local broadcast industry. The Hawaii Association of Broadcasters is running an announcement urging people to call the council to support reopening police radio communications, arguing they are an essential tool to keeping the public safe during emergencies.
We don't have the ability to respond accurately when we don't have access to information. And minutes matter in many emergency situations.
We remain committed to transparency, but not at the expense of officer investigations, integrity, or the privacy of victims or witnesses.
The council is considering a bill to force HPD to provide access, and Vanek told the council last month he was open to the idea, saying broadcasters can get out important information faster than the department.
Aloha on this Tuesday. We're expecting another breezy trade wind day. The trade wind speeds will run anywhere from moderate to breezy speeds, 15 to 20 in the afternoon for some leeward spots. And with all that sunshine and lack of rainfall, temperatures will run to near 90. And the brush fire threat, let's say it's elevated because of the lack of rainfall and the low humidity levels from the winds. Still going to be a little bit choppy on the windward side. South and west shores have only small pulses today.
Coming up, heavy metal rock legend Ozzy Osbourne dies at the age of 76. A look back at his life and legacy. Plus this.
Stephen Colbert returned to the air Monday with an all-star show of support from some of the biggest names in comedy. I'm Bradley Blackburn with The Moment, as some fans took to the streets to protest the Late Show's cancellation.
Welcome back. The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, is dead. He was 76 years old. The three-time Grammy Award winner sold more than 100 million records and is considered one of the greatest singers of all time by Rolling Stone. Jared Hill looks back at his iconic music career.
Ozzy Osbourne rose to fame in the 1970s as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, pioneering heavy metal music along the way. The band's music became a symbol of devil worshipping and Satanism, though Ozzy, born John Michael Osbourne, said he was a member of the Church of England. The Crazy Train singer was known for his crazy antics on stage. He once bit the head off a bat, though admitted he thought it wasn't real, and later was fired from the band due to problems with drugs and alcohol. But Osbourne had a successful solo career and did reunite with Black Sabbath several times over the years.
I've been saying I want to retire. I'll never retire. I'll be always doing something with music. It's what I'm here for.
Younger fans may have been introduced to the Prince of Darkness as the first celebrity dad of reality TV, when he and his wife Sharon and two of their three children starred on MTV's The Osbournes in the early 2000s. In 2019, Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and lost his ability to walk, which forced the rocker to cancel a tour. Ozzy did, though, give fans one last thrill, reuniting with Black Sabbath earlier this month for what he called his final live performance. It was a charity concert in his hometown of Birmingham, England.
And I sobbed the whole way through because he's legend.
In a statement, Osbourne's family said he was with his family and surrounded by love when he died. Jared Hill, CBS News.
There was an all-star show of support last night for Stephen Colbert. Some of the biggest comedians appeared on The Late Show following the surprise announcement of its cancellation. Paramount says the cancellation is budgetary. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
I just want to take a minute to, again, thank everybody for the outpouring of support.
As he returned to the air Monday, Stephen Colbert was diplomatic about news his top-rated late-night show is being canceled.
Since I'm the guy who's going away next year, I'm thinking maybe I'm not the guy to cheer you up.
But in the audience at the Ed Sullivan Theater, comedy stars turned out, from NBC ratings rivals Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers to Adam Sandler to John Oliver and Jon Stewart, all supporting Colbert, who has been a sharp critic of Paramount's recent decision to settle a lawsuit against CBS filed by President Trump. A multi-billion-dollar deal to sell Paramount to Skydance still requires approval from the FCC. In a statement last week, Paramount said about the cancellation, this is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It is not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount. Monday on Comedy Central, another Paramount network, Jon Stewart spoke out.
Purely financial? Or maybe the path of least resistance for your $8 billion merger?
And outside the Ed Sullivan Theater Monday, Colbert fans protested.
Colbert stays, Trump must go.
President Trump celebrated Colbert's cancellation on social media, writing, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired."
How dare you, sir?
Last night, Colbert didn't mince words.
Go yourself.
Colbert's Late Show will run through the end of its season in May next year. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
All right, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam looking out at Honolulu Harbor. Nice and sunny with some clouds out there. Guys, going to have your full forecast when we come back in 2 minutes.
First Alert Weather with Guy Huggy.
Aloha on this Tuesday. We're 52 days into hurricane season. 52 days into hurricane season. Still very quiet here at home in the Central Pacific. We do have some high clouds coming up from the west over the state. These high clouds, these bright white clouds, don't bring in any rain, but they make the sunrise and sunset skies especially pretty. This morning you can see it's relatively dry out there, and these mostly dry conditions will persist. We can't rule out a stray shower or two, but there's just not a lot of rain out there. Now these winds will step up to moderate to breezy levels, especially from Maui to Kauai. Lighter winds, of course, over in the Kona side. Up in the Kohala area, the winds will be breezy too. So Tuesday's going to look a lot like yesterday and a lot like tomorrow, in that these breezy to moderately light winds will continue, and that means humidity levels will be comfortable. They won't get out of hand. But with the lower humidity levels, that ups the brush fire threat, so heads up on that. Now with all the sunshine, high temperatures running to near 90. Now the surf, it's pretty small. It's going to be small for the next several days. Only minor pulses expected for south and west shores. Still going to be a little choppy through Wednesday for east shores. So we've got these moderate to breezy level winds all the way through Thursday. We're not expecting a lot of rain. There's a better chance for rain in the windward and Mauka areas in the early morning and overnight hours. Otherwise, there's not going to be much rain for the duration of the forecast. Now, the change that you'll feel is going to come on Friday. That's when the winds will slow down. That's when humidity levels will start to climb. Might be a little bit sticky as we head into the weekend.
Want to take a coolcation this summer? I'm Wendy Gillette on the island of Nantucket off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, with more on travelers looking to escape the extreme heat and chill out in milder weather.
Climate change is bringing higher heat to parts of the world. In fact, many are planning their trips with that in mind. Wendy Gillette reports on travelers taking a coolcation this summer in search of lower temperatures.
Heating up in a sauna may not seem enticing as temperatures sizzle this summer. But this is a floating version on a boat that takes visitors into the world's largest archipelago in Turku, Finland, where temperatures this time of the year average in the 70s.
Oh my God!
And taking a dip in water as cold as 60 degrees follows a typical Finnish sauna session. Long days with sunsets close to midnight and cooler temperatures brought Boston resident Sarah Landis Grinspoon to Turku this month.
I don't love extreme heat, so this is great. Like, we're getting out of Boston, away from heat waves, and really enjoying ourselves.
She stayed at Hotel Kakola, a Turku prison during the 1800s with cell rooms hearkening to its past, as well as a refurbished boat suite, sauna included. A traditional wood-burning sauna is a highlight at Villa Wolax in the archipelago, where rustic rooms and island sailing trips draw the heat-averse.
It's about 15 degrees less heat over here than in the middle of Europe.
Cooler temperatures may be one reason why summer is Finland's most popular season for American travelers, up 25% last year compared to pre-pandemic 2019, helping set an annual record. Finnair flies direct from 6 U.S. cities to Helsinki during the summer months.
Americans can also find cooler islands closer to home. Here on Nantucket, off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, summer temperatures are usually about 10 degrees lower than Boston.
The nautical-themed Nantucket Hotel, one of those we stayed at for a special raid, is blocks from the water.
Nantucket is sometimes called the Gray Lady, and sometimes it's foggy and very atmospheric. But in the summer, generally, it is cool, ocean breezes, beautiful sunshine.
2 heated pools warm guests, while piles of lobsters and freshly shucked oysters satiate at a traditional clam bake. A taste of a more chill New England. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Speaking of temperatures, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam, where it is currently 80 degrees here in Honolulu as we look out towards Aloha Tower. Thank you for watching. This is Now, everyone. We have more news first at 4 right here on KHNL. See you then.